if we turn off this one, the other one doesn't actually like send signal out. I don't fucking know how that works. Like, I worked in computers, but I didn't do like network and internet shit. I just never dabbled in that because it didn't interest me. But yeah, this is one of those ones where I kind of wish I had of, so I could better understand it myself. But yeah, it's just like, it's fine. At least I was gonna say, at least Nick understands it. I'm getting a lot of super potions at the moment. Yeah, no, that was the funny thing. Like, I didn't do internet and I think it was like servers. Internet and servers were the two things I didn't do in computers because they didn't interest me. I didn't want to deal with that shit, and the customers that had problems with it were normally like the shitty ones. So I just never went that route. Whereas Nick did. He knows the shit. So it's good. We kind of balance each other out with our knowledge. 2 to Shadow Disciples Assassin only. It's a defense of 60. Hold on. Oh, it's stronger. Almost got poison resistance though. What do you got? Mana stolen per hit. That would compensate for the necklace. I never ended up looking at my stats when I put the necklace on too. Enhanced defense, energy, and mana. Yeah, that could actually be... that could be probably pretty good. I wanted to see... I must have just put it straight up in my inventory. The hell happened to my fence? Shit. Oh. The hell happened there? It was like negative for a second there. I must have had like some... Oh, when I'm running. What the hell? I've never seen that before. I guess I've never looked at... I knew something flashed whenever I moved around. I just never noticed it. Favorite loot goblin. Found anything good? Sup, Grim? Yeah, actually, 2 things. I found an amulet, which I forgot to put on. And I found a circlet, which should also let me have my ponytail out, so I'll look more like my, come over here, you, my Valkyrie. So that'll be pretty cool. And I've got this, like, pretty cool purple armor, so, yeah. I also found a decent bow, too, since probably, like, last time you saw. And I've just, like, stuffed it full of, like, gems and jewels and runes and anything I could, like, use in it, so it's pretty good. I was just gonna have a look at this because I want to change over resistances. So this one, the other one does poison, so that's not going to change, but the other ones, like, I don't have any lightning resistance, and this should finally mean lightning resistance and decent fire resistance too, so that's nice. Yeah, how you been, Grim? I've struggled to get my person like decent gear. I also found like a bunch of like Grim gear, the Grim wands and all sorts of stuff. But yeah, I don't know. I keep forgetting to mention it. But yeah, I basically have to have everything's like enhanced defense and stuff because my character's kind of crippled on points because of how I'm starting her out purposely. And it's making it challenging as all hell. So if I was assassin, I'd get 2 to Shadow Disciples or Disciplines or whatever. So Shadow would get some discipline for God's sake. So that'll be useful. Also, Ulvet is Shadow, Grim. Just a heads up. Because, yeah, people change names around here a bit. It's not width, depth, and height. It's width, length, and height, right? Bad to translate on my part. Look, I'm terrible with death stuff. Or, like, you know, that stuff in general. So, like, if somebody says, like, depth and width, I'm thinking of, like, across the table and length the table, right? But then, like, the height stuff, in Australia, we get a lot of things that refer to depth as height, and it fucking pisses me off, because it's not the same thing. Like, if they could keep some of the shit standard across it, it'd be great. So I get, like, a lot of confusion a lot of the time. This should be the tiniest bit more defense. I passed up a couple of items last week because they weren't... Oh man, my lightning resistance. What the hell, how do I get -1 lightning resistance? Oh, this was buffing it by 10%. Well, that's not going to help me, is that? I didn't notice the lightning resistance, I just saw poison resistance. I'm still gonna keep this, but yeah, that kind of sucks. I wish I could maybe throw a socket on that, but I got this socketed instead because this was actually decent. And it should last me a while, but yeah, now I'm back being fucking weak to lightning, I guess. The only thing is that my crown has to go to Eliza. My helper is getting all my hand-me-downs, so she gets whatever I wore. So even though this is good and I'd like to be able to put it into my stash, I could, but then she wouldn't get whatever's in the stash, so she has to get this.
Put that to good use.
So now I can sell that. So she doesn't have to be limited in the way that I am, but it makes it interesting too, because look, she's got like pretty good lightning resistance, but she's got cold and fire that she's weak to and stuff. Sorry, I thought the one who's meant to be disciplining around here. No, you're not meant to be disciplining, you're supposed to be getting disciplined. It's the difference between you holding a whip and somebody whipping you. That's basically where that conversation went. You've got 2+ to basically, I don't know, getting whip cracked on you, I guess. Congrats to that. I don't know. I need to like chuck a fucking gem or something. Realistically, I need to make a decision about the shit that I'm holding on to. Don't know either. It's fine, you don't have to answer that. I thought about getting rid of the boots, even though they do cold and fire resistance, which is great against Diablo. I'm not gonna need fire resistance until I go back up against Diablo in hell. So I should be able to sell that, even though that was a lot to gamble to get that. Flip a coin for it. See, now that's fucking... Grim's got the idea. The new territory for me. It's fine. I have like relatives that have farms and shit, so we basically like got to actually play around with like actual fucking cattle whips and shit. And you don't want to really be like accidentally fucking lashed by one of those things snapping back the wrong way. I haven't been hit by one, but like I kind of expect that it's like worse than, you know, the archery bow that I had like smack me on my inner arm. I ended up with like a fucking giant ass bruise. I'm thinking it's got to be worse than that, because I imagine it would probably also break the skin on like a completely like soft person like me. Cosplayed Indiana Jones. No. My brother was like fascinated with trying to get the whip to crack. Because like my granddad showed him how, and then my brother just like kept sneaking out and like stealing the proper whip and trying to like see if he could get it to crack, because I mean, bored kids on a farm. So yeah, that's basically what happened with that. But I don't know, it wasn't like too exciting or anything like that. It was just like, because you can, kind of country stuff. I don't know, when there's not much to do and that's the best on offer is just like standing out in a paddock, cracking whips and trying not to scare local animals. That's what you do. 10% chance to cast a level 3 charge bolt when struck. The attack rating is massive. Life stolen per hit. Lightning. This could buff up my lightning resistance game. I just gotta figure out which one I want it to be. Cannot be frozen. It's not coming off for where I'm going. Yeah, that's the thing, is whips can cut. That's why I said, like, I'm pretty sure, like, usually when farmers use, like, whips out with, like, cows and horses and shit, right, they're cracking it above, like, in the air. They're not actually, like, touching an animal with it, right? Because it would probably tear skin and shit, right? And obviously on a person, like, part of the reason why they wear, like, at least, like, low-level leather armor kind of thing when they kind of, like, get around and stuff, is that if it does happen to, like, snap back in a bad way, it's more likely to, like, cut the leather armor than your body kind of thing. I probably will use this. Attack rating. It's a little bit less attack rating, and it's a little bit... takes off a tiny bit of life, but it gives me life stolen per hit and gives me my lightning resistance back, so I'm gonna lose a little bit of my overall, like, attack rating. I just want to see. Oh, that's like barely anything. You know, that's fine. Can I store that? What's this one? 60 attack rating. Half freeze duration. That would be useful where I'm going. I guess I could keep like the other one for the moment. I'm trying not to loot everything, Grim, because like I can't use any of those. I just have the one. And I don't have a lot of space, and I really need to stockpile extra health and rejuvenation potions to go up against Baal. So, yeah. The only good thing is this time round, we're in Nightmare, and I've so far defeated Mephisto and Diablo without dying, but also Diablo without my inventory of charms. That's nice. So, I don't expect to do that well up against Baal because poison damage. So, yeah, I expect to kind of get like screwed over a bit with that. Oh, my old desk, hold on. Had a whiff so small, half the whiff was taken by the monitor. Whoa, shit, you moved fast. So sitting a proper distance from the monitor is basically forced to have the keyboard so close to the edge. And your wrist on the table, thus, okay. That explains the whole conversation about how your like wrists and elbows are like communicating with that desk. Thing is, like, I have a deep desk, but the problem is like my keyboard and mouse are like up against the edge for like a similar sort of situation. That's where I actually need to go. Because basically where my keyboard mat is, behind that is where like Azula likes to sleep. And I have my keyboard cover that extends from like above my keyboard, because I have it like going from in front of me towards the wall instead of like perfectly covering the keyboard like shape-wise kind of thing, so I can put like my microphone and other stuff on top of it without it being too close. So I lose a lot of space there. Like eventually I'll get like another desk. I'll probably get a sit-stand desk eventually myself, because I realized that a sit-stand desk can be adjusted for whatever height my chair is. So whether I have my current chair that's too high, or if I have a new chair that's perfect height, I can adjust it up and down to like basically be perfect for it, so then no more posture issues. But then a new desk wouldn't be as deep between me and the wall, right in front of me, so then I wouldn't have quite as much space there. But I would, if I got a new desk eventually, I would get the microphone stand at that point, which would eliminate the need for the keyboard cover. I would also have more space off to the side of me to have the cats sleeping, like their cat bed and my drink and stuff off to the side, so then I actually have space in front of me for the first time. Because at the moment I don't have a lot of space to my side, because Nick and I are using the one desk, so it's kind of a little cramped with that, with like two people and cat bed and all of our other like peripheral shit. There's not a lot of room. God, fucking hell. Yeah, but basically like that's like my whole plans for it and stuff. That's why like, as much as like I often like mention, I'm like, you know, using like the keyboard cover instead of microphone stand and stuff like that, and I'd like to get one eventually, I kind of want to get the desk replaced first, because that way I have like a foundation of space to begin with, and that way I don't have to worry about, because like where the cats kind of like sleep, I know Azula would like jump up onto a desk and probably bump a microphone. I get the feeling that she would jump into and like knock the microphone if she jumped up onto the desk. And then of course like my drink bottle and stuff would be like right next to where it's connected and stuff. This desk has solid walls, so I can't like connect a microphone stand over the edge, which would give me more space. I would have to connect it from the front side, which would basically put it in the way of drink bottle and cats. So yeah, like I've thought out the logic of all this stuff, but like the most practical way of doing this, and that's like the best I can get, is if I can like eventually like save up and like replace my desk, like, the only problem is, like, replacing a desk is not just, like, me getting a desk. Like, Nick will also have to either turn this desk sideways and see if it fits in the room, or we'd have to get a second desk so that he has something to use. I might not have space. But yeah, that's another thing too. So whenever we look at, like, a desk and shit, like, Australia makes, like, a standard width. I'm sure, like, around the world has this problem with desks and shit too, right? Is you have, like, a standard width, maximum size desk that manufacturers will make, because I think it's whatever the standard size room, house room in, like, Australia is. There's the frozen river. Yeah, so I think because, like, most rooms are very slightly smaller than this, because, like, you guys gotta remember too, like, because, like, I designed and, like, built this place and stuff, right, is everything's, like, a little bit, tiny bit custom. Rooms are very, very slightly bigger, taller, stuff like that.
I can't
so it's not like a standard size house. So the other thing I also have to be careful of is if I were to ever move and, like, be somewhere else in a regular home, like a normal standard built home, I may not necessarily have things fit. So there's always that concern too in the long run. Also, no worries, Grim. I will catch you next time. It was great to have you here. I know you can't always be here. But yeah, that is something that I also worried about with my, you know, with the stuff for, like, I don't know, my desks and whatever. Because, like, the one that I've got at the moment, I would call it an office desk, realistically. Like, you know, when you go to, like, a business or something like that, and they just have, like, one of those, like, super wide desks where, like, they can probably have, like, maybe 2 reception type people or something like that sit at it with, like, minimal kind of, like, filing or whatever kind of documents between it. It's sort of like that. It's just a generally, like, wider desk to begin with. But I also did customize my desk too. I did some manual shit to it because it used to be an L shape. Oh, hydrate and stretch, thank you. So it used to be, like, L shape, and I was like, okay, I sort of do want to be able to, like, use more of the space, because originally when I, like, got this desk, I did a lot of drawing at the time. I did a lot of drawing and gaming. I had, like, my printer and all sorts of stuff to, like, scan and print, like, drawings and stuff like that. So the big thing for me was that I needed desktop space kind of thing, and that's kind of like what I ended up doing, was just, like, pulling apart my desk and, like, putting it back together. That's probably why, in hindsight, that is probably why my desk is, like, kind of broken. It structurally wasn't sound for, like, the last, like, 6 years, maybe. This is all like panning out now. This is all coming into, like, picture. I will also stretch too. Yeah, I don't know. I also do tend to get in and customize my shit if it doesn't, like, fit or it's not comfortable, usually. Like, I did that to a lounge chair. I thought it was last year, but it might have been 2 years ago now. Basically, like, I had this lounge chair that, well, I have 2 identical lounge chairs, but one of them, I don't know, I was being, like, stupid and playful kind of thing, and I kind of, like, dive sat kind of thing. Like, I kind of, like, threw my whole body weight into the seat from a distance, and obviously, like, cracked the whatever it is, the support thing inside of it. So I obviously broke my couch, which was fun anyway. It was great. It was worth it. But yeah, I ended up being like, okay, every time I sit on one side of the couch on this broken seat, I completely, like, get absorbed into the seat itself, and it's really quite, like, bad for, like, obviously back and hips and all that sort of stuff. So I'm like, fuck it. I didn't want to throw it out, because I'm like, half of the couch is still great. So I'm like, fuck it, I'll just fucking, I don't know, I guess I'll just cut it up and I'll customize it. So I literally, like, cut it in half and, like, kind of like reworked all the fabric and like cushioning and shit like that to like fashion a single seat couch out of it. It actually looks pretty good, and it's really sturdy. That was the most impressive part for me, because I'm like, I've never fucked around with such a like a big piece of furniture before. Like my desk is like a big piece of furniture, but it's a light, thin, you know, kind of piece of furniture. This thing's like, I don't know, still requires like a couple of people to kind of lift and shift it, kind of thing. But yeah, the funniest thing is like I've had visitors before that are like, oh, you know, I like your like couch sets and stuff like that, and I'm like, could you tell that that was like the same as this? And I just point to my other seat, and they're like, what do you mean? And I'm like, it's not an armchair. It was like this two-seater couch. And yeah, it's always funny. Because, I don't know, I guess like, people don't do this or something? I always get perplexed by this, that like people don't like fix shit. I guess like not everybody has to. Like it's not a manual requirement of, oh, your shit's broken, like fix it yourself kind of stuff. I just have that kind of process that's like, I'll try to like make it work, I'll try to fix it, and if it doesn't work, no harm no foul. It's just, you know, obviously less usable then kind of thing. But this was like, yeah, one of those like good success things. I don't know, I was pretty fucking proud of my couch. And the funny thing is, like, it's actually been pretty useful because like most times I can't say that in like the recent like last 10 years I've had more than like one person visiting at a time. So I've never needed to have the additional seat. Like obviously like a visitor could like sprawl out on a seat and that would be comfortable and shit, but like, yeah, I just haven't needed the extra seat. So it's been useful. Yeah, so I focus so much on buying reliable stuff and keeping it maintained that I can't repair shit or just never have to. The thing is, like, I bought really good quality couch and stuff. Like, I do the same kind of thing. Like, you gotta remember, back probably when I got most of my stuff, right? Which would have been back when I was about 18 or so. And you gotta think immediately, like, I was 18 when I bought a lot of my, like, appliances and house shit and stuff, right? So, like, I'm 36 now. It's lasted quite a while. A lot of my stuff has lasted quite a while. With, like, regular use, wear and tear, and, like, obviously, like, doing stupid shit, it does break. But, like, I am also one of those people that I don't really like having to replace things. So I got a lot of the stuff that I picked out, like, some of it was a little bit more expensive up front. Some of it was, like, I don't know, just, like, seems, like, timeless when you look at them kind of thing. I need to get back into this area. Like, yeah, basically stuff in my house doesn't really look like it's from a time, a place, or an era kind of thing. It's just very, very customized me kind of style. And everything still mostly looks really new. Like, as if it's never been used. And there's a few things that obviously have, like, the tiniest bit of wear on them. But apart from that, like, everything's good. Mind you, obviously, like, getting some of this stuff before knowing how to, like, properly, like, use and care for it, not the smartest idea. Like, I still strongly, like, go by the idea, like, if you can, try getting secondhand stuff for, like, your first equipment and stuff, because you'll either learn how to, like, repair shit, or you'll learn how to, like, take care of it. And if it does happen to break, it's had, like, a full, like, solid lifespan kind of thing. Whereas, like, my stuff was new, so it basically lasted, like, a long fucking time. Like, I had at least 10 years on most things, guaranteed, because it was just, like, you know, shit's just built to last at least 10 years. And then, anything that did wear down and break was mostly just misuse. Like, for instance, the washing machine that eventually broke. I know why it broke, because, like, when I was younger, my thought process was I could probably squeeze, like, I don't know, half a dozen extra shirts into this load instead of, you know, doing 2 loads, so I'd overload it, stuff like that. Just like small acts of misuse over like a prolonged period of time. That's all those were. That's why they like broke and wore away and stuff. But yeah, once I do generally, if I break something, I do generally have like a good crack at trying to repair it though. Which my washing machine I repaired twice?
Afternoon.
I think 2 or 3 times. And the 3rd time I couldn't repair it anymore. The thing that was broken in it was not replaceable. It's always that fucking way. Like, the only thing that will get me to usually like upgrade or replace something is once it's no longer like repairable or replaceable. Or it's like impossible to actually get the part to like repair it or something. Like, cost outweighs like getting a new one or something, you know. In which case then I obviously have to like make the smarter decision about like, you know, economics type stuff. So yeah, I don't know. It also means that like by the time I need new devices or equipment, stuff like that, it's usually like worn to fucking buggery, like beyond worn out kind of levels. My Valkyrie's going down over there. Because like I will have like used the crap out of it and like repaired it and like extended its life well beyond what it was supposed to do, or at least like got it to its maximum lifespan for like, you know, how I've used it and stuff. I was thinking about it the other day, you know, with like the air conditioners and stuff, right? And when I was trying to get those repaired last year, I remember the people were like, oh, you've, oh, waypoint. They were like, oh, you've only, like, ever serviced your air conditioner, like, I think I serviced it, like, 2 or 3 times in its entire life in, like, 14 years. And they're like, oh, you know, you could have extended the life of it, blah, blah, blah. And I was thinking about it. This kind of dawned on me the other day, but, the parts to repair air conditioners apparently stopped being in production by like 14 years of age anyway. Like they're not expected to last beyond 10, right? So making like servicing my air conditioner more and making it last longer, I probably could have got longer out of it, but once it broke anyway, there would definitely not have been any parts for it. The only difference would be that maybe I would have got like possibly 2 to 5 more years out of it. Maybe. At the extreme best, right? But I was thinking about it and like, no matter what I did, there was never going to be a replacement part available beyond this point in time to repair it. So, yeah. I can't, like, I'm not upset with that because I'm like, considering how little it was professionally maintained, because I maintained it myself, right? So considering how little it was professionally maintained versus its age, I think it was quite good for like its overall like age and stuff. Oh Jesus, fucking lucky. Yeah, I died, but like I hurt somebody then. That was so lightning. Tell you what, lightning will do it. Alright, I don't want to pick up anything, but I'm gonna need armor to get in there. I will grab my helper. 2 to 3 times for 14 years, and it's pretty good. Yeah, well, you gotta remember, I like self-maintain things though.
Okay.
So,
Afternoon.
like, you know, cleaning shit and like greasing shit and whatever. I just don't know how to like regas type surface air conditioners. That's the only thing I don't know how to do. But like,
service.
Nick had a friend that was an air conditioner repair tech. So when he initially came out to do one of the services, he basically showed me what I'd need to do to like look after it and stuff. So I did it mostly myself. That's kind of how I like function with this stuff. I'm gonna take my like basic stuff in it. It's better than ceramic tiles. Is it they stopped being produced the same year here? Good luck trying to repair a bathroom barely a year later, not to mention 14 years. Okay, so a little tip with when you're doing any kind of tiling. My advice to you, and this is something I actually did with my house,